Hey guys, welcome back to another upSchool video. Today our lesson is CBSE 7th grade Geography Chapter 1, 1.3, What is an Ecosystem? Hope you guys enjoyed this video and stay tuned for more easy free online lessons from upSchool. So right off the bat, let's just have a quick introduction of this video. This is the third video of the CBSE Classroom Geography Chapter 1, Our Environment videos. Stay tuned for the fourth and fifth one. Well, there's only going to be 4 videos. Stay tuned for the last one coming up. This is the second to last video. So, our first video was the first concept that you learn in this chapter. What is an environment? It's basically 1.1 of Chapter 1 CBSE Classroom Geography. And the second video is 1.2, or basically the second concept you learn in this chapter, natural environment. And this video is the third concept that you learn in CBSE Classroom Geography Chapter 1. What is an ecosystem? So, hope you guys enjoy. So, in this video, first I'll be giving you guys a recap on our previous videos, or basically a brief overview of our previous videos. If you want a thoroughly explained version, please feel free to check out those videos. Next, I'll be explaining the definition of what is an ecosystem. Lastly, I'll be giving you guys an example of an ecosystem. So let's just have a recap on our first video. What is an environment? So what is an environment? The definition of an environment is the surroundings of a place that contain the necessities for living organisms. A house is a perfect example of an environment. Why? Because the surroundings of a place, which in this case is a house, the surroundings of a house contain water, the water that comes out of your tap, for example, and the surroundings of your house contain air. Obviously, air is all around you. The surroundings of your house contain food. In your refrigerator, there's food. And lastly, shelter. The surroundings of a house contain shelter. Your house is the shelter. So this is a very good diagram if you wanna understand what an environment is, and an example of what an environment would be in a high level. So now let's have a recap on the second video, 1.2 of Chapter 1, Natural Environment. What is a natural environment? A natural environment is an environment that consists of things that are made from nature. So no more buildings or ponds, because buildings and ponds are man-made. A natural environment, basically the surroundings of an environment that contain everything that's made from nature, no man-made things, but the surroundings of a place that contain only Mother Nature made things would be considered as a natural environment. A perfect example would be a forest. The surroundings of a forest contain the necessities to live. The surroundings of a forest contain water, food, air, and life, so that makes a forest an environment. But how would a forest be a natural environment? Well, the surroundings of a forest contain everything that are made from nature. Plants are made from nature, and so are trees. So in a natural environment, there are domains. There are actually 4 domains of a natural environment. The first one is lithosphere. Lithosphere is basically a more technical term for land, but it's important to know these technical terms. So the first domain is lithosphere, which is basically land. The second domain is hydrosphere, which is basically water. Third domain, atmosphere, air. Lastly, biosphere, life. It's important to know these definitions because instead of writing water, you'd get more points if you write lithosphere. If you write hydrosphere, sorry. Feel free to check out the natural environment video if you want these domains to be thoroughly explained. So now let's begin our actual lesson. What is an ecosystem? So first, let's just read the actual definition of an ecosystem. An area in a natural environment where living organisms depend and interdepend on each other and their immediate surroundings. What do I mean by this? Well, I'll be giving you guys an example to help you understand this. Suppose there's a little tiny forest, and in this forest there is a bird. And the bird always eats worms. And in the forest, the bird uses the air to breathe, and it goes over to the little pond, to the little river near the forest to drink water. So in this forest, the bird has everything it needs to survive. The bird has food. The bird obviously has shelter under the tree. The bird has air, and the bird has water. So the necessities to live, the necessities for a bird to live are in this forest. So this right here would be considered as an ecosystem. Why? Well, the forest is basically an area. This little forest is an area in a natural environment. There could be just a huge, this little forest could be part of a huge grassland. So this little tiny forest is an area in a natural environment. So that makes it an ecosystem, because an ecosystem is an area in a natural environment where living organisms depend and interdepend on their immediate surroundings. So the first part of the definition of an ecosystem we see here. So to understand the second part of to understand how this scenario would be an ecosystem, well, let's see what we have here. The bird eats the worm, right? And the bird also drinks water, and the bird uses the air to breathe in. Water, air, and the worm for food are all the bird's immediate surroundings. The bird is depending on these immediate surroundings to live. The bird is depending on the worm to live so the bird can have food, which is a necessity for a bird to live. A bird is depending on the air to breathe and to live. So the bird is depending on its immediate surroundings. What do I mean by immediate surroundings? Basically, the surroundings that are, very close to the bird. The bird is very close to the ground, and that's where worms are. Air is obviously everywhere, and if there's a little river near the forest, it's obviously close. It's obviously a close surrounding to the bird, which makes it an immediate surrounding. The bird is depending on its immediate surroundings, and that makes it an ecosystem. You see, the definition of an ecosystem is an area in a natural environment where the living organisms depend on each other and their immediate surroundings. In this scenario, we see that the little forest is an area in the natural environment, and the bird depending on the air to breathe in, the water to drink, and the worm as food is basically living organisms depending on each other and their immediate surroundings. The living organism in the scenario is the bird, and the bird is depending on its immediate surroundings. The bird is depending on its immediate surroundings, which in this case is the worm as food, the air to breathe, and the water to drink. That's how this scenario is an ecosystem. The little forest is an area in the natural environment, and the bird depending on, and in this little forest, which basically in this area in the natural environment, in the forest, the bird or the living organism is depending on its immediate surroundings. The bird is depending on its immediate surroundings, which in this case is the worm for food, the air to breathe in, and the water to drink. So here's another example to understand what an ecosystem is. So imagine, inside the ocean, there's a shark, and the shark eats the small fish for food, and it needs the water to breathe in. This right here is an ecosystem. Why? Because in an area and natural environment, in this case is the ocean, the living organism, which in this case is the shark, is depending on its immediate surroundings. The shark's immediate surroundings is the small fish that it uses as food, because the shark is depending on the fish to live in, because the shark needs food to live, which is why the shark is depending on its immediate surroundings, which is the fish. The shark is also depending on its immediate surroundings, which is also the water. The water is also the shark's immediate surroundings. Why? Because, there's obviously water everywhere, since the shark lives in the ocean. The shark needs the water to breathe, which makes the shark depend on water. Fish basically makes the shark depend on its immediate surroundings. This is what makes this scenario an ecosystem, because in an area in a natural environment, which in this case is the ocean, the living organism, the shark, is depending on its immediate surroundings. Its immediate surroundings are the water, and fish. The shark is depending on this immediate surroundings because it needs these immediate surroundings to live. So this definition isn't actually in your NCERT textbook, but I think this definition is really helpful to actually understand what an ecosystem is. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Watch our other CBSE Class 7 Geography Chapter 1 videos, as I already told you. Stay tuned for more. Greatness starts here, and remember, learning doesn't stop even if there's a pandemic going on. So yeah, stay tuned for more upSchool videos. This is upSchool, signing off.